Hey guys, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty. As a retro and current gamer, I often have a backlog that's absolutely huge. And sometimes, still with that said, you want to pick up a game and just play that game again. For example, Double Dragon's a game that I go back to almost every year and play it on a different system. I've beaten that game on multiple different platforms. But with that said, there was a game that's been on my shelf for a long time that I've beaten before. I was just itching to pick it up and play it again, and I decided the other day to do that. And that was none other than Fighting Force. This was in 1997, and it was a 3D beat 'em up. It was developed by Core Design and published by Eidos. It was released on PlayStation, which is the copy I have here, Microsoft Windows, Nintendo 64 as well, and announced shortly after Core became a star developer through the critical and commercial success of Tomb Raider. Unfortunately, Fighting Force here had pretty mixed reviews. It was meant pretty hard. It's sort of in the vein, if you will, of like a Final Fight type of game. So let's take a look at it and talk about this game. That good old classic Sony PlayStation 1 boot up sound. What a nice change of pace from the gimmicky controls that I've been currently playing with the Nintendo Wii. Oh, shit! Fighting Force. I've always liked the beat 'em up genre. There's just something about it to relax, sit down, especially if you could get a friend and play with you, and just kick some enemy butt. Yeah, we're going back to the old polygons of none other than the original PlayStation. Wow, this really takes you back on what was at the time considered cutting-edge graphics that don't necessarily hold up the greatest today. Once you get past those long load times, because yeah, we're back to PlayStation 1, the player gets to pick one of four characters to go through urban and science fiction environments, beating the crap out of tons of oncoming enemies, drinking soda pop and picking up other things off the ground after you beat enemies to bring your health back up, as well as earning points by grabbing things like money. You're also going to get weapons like knives and guns, pipes, things like that are going to help you to lay the smack down on those people coming at you. Another cool concept that helps make this game more interesting is that you can have two players. There's nothing like sitting down. It's a good old classic couch co-op. Now, people, this is before the days of the internet being so prevalent, so you don't get to sit and play this online with somebody else, but you have them actually sit on the couch next to you and kick butt together fighting your opponents. The four characters that you have to choose from in this game all have various reasons to want to take down Dr. Dex Zhang, a criminal mastermind with an army at his command who predicted that the world would end in the year 2000. Wait a minute. Holy crap, that's 20 years ago. Boy, does that make you feel old. Well, anyway, after New Year's Eve in 1999, Dr. Zhang believed there was an error preventing the apocalypse, so he decides to correct this error by destroying the world himself. Wait, but what's that leave to him? Well, corny story aside, you're going to start by the police office where they're going to be protecting this guy, and your goal is to get to him, and you're going to beat your way through, and I mean really, you're going to be beating up a ton of guys through your way through many locations to get and catch up to this guy and put a stop to him. You're going to go possibly through a shopping mall, the subway, Coast Guard base, airport, depending on which way you choose. Because the interesting part of it is it gives you a little bit of extra replayability on top of that, is that as you go, there's going to be a couple times where you have an option to choose which way you're going to go. Now granted, this isn't anything super fantastic. You're not going to have massive amounts of different type of move sets and everything. You're going to have a pretty standard punch, kick, back, hit, and a special hit. But the additional weapons you're going to get to is going to add a little bit to it, like the handgun and things of that nature. Yes, this game is dated. It shows some of the elements of its time. The graphics don't jump out as the greatest on earth, but once again, graphics aren't always everything in a video game. The question you have to ask, is it fun? Well, it does suffer some of the same traditional beat 'em up issues. After a while, it sort of gets repetitive, especially when you're in the same area fighting wave after wave after wave, and I'm not exaggerating there, of bad guys. I found that also by spamming the slide kick is about the best way to do it and retain from getting damage. But other elements they do to add to the game too is somewhat destructive environments. Now, gotta remember the age that this game came out. with destructive environments aren't exactly like they are today, where you can break down everything just about under the sun, but you can do damage like you've seen the truck back there in the back that I did. So it gives you some elements of breaking things, smashing things, and then being able to utilize them. Now, this is not a perfect game by any means. There is some problems. For one, the handgun, aiming that. You have to really pay attention to make sure he moves that auto-aim, moves that gun, and actually points at the character before you shoot. Otherwise, you can just be missing tremendously. Another thing, too, is once the bad guys get a hold of you, they're going to beat the crap out of you pretty hard, just like any fight game of this nature, but it can be a little aggravating. So I found, as I said earlier, the best way is to spam a lot the slide kick as well as the jump kick, which does tend to get a little old after a while. So once again, it runs into the same problem of a lot of repetition. Also, it's an older game, so you don't get to save your game for quite a while, which means you might have to play for quite a while before shutting it down with it saved to come back again later. But ultimately, it's not a very long game. You can beat this game easily within a couple of hours. Now, if we were comparing this game to other games, once again, we have to remember the era that this game came from. The original PlayStation release received pretty mixed reviews. Critics overwhelmingly commented that the game has a satisfying large amount of interactive scenery to destroy and collect weapons from, but agreed that despite all of that, the transition to 3D gameplay was not really meaningful in this. It didn't offer anything that you couldn't get from a two-dimensional beat-em-up. It's basically a 3D version of Final Fight, if you will. But once again, I'm a Final Fight fan, so that doesn't really hurt it for me. Now, you're going to notice that the characters, too, they're okay. They're a mixed bag, so you can play as a man or a woman. I think that's sort of nice. You get a different gist based on which character you're going to play with. But overall, there really isn't a whole lot more to give than that. There wasn't anything that made this game jump out and make it special. There's nothing truly about it that says you have to play this over other fighting games. So, is it a very fun game though? Well, it's not a huge leap, but it's still pretty fun. Once again, it suffers that same beat 'em up thing of too much, maybe all the time, of wave after wave. But with that said, the game doesn't overstay its welcome. It's got a decent length, the music's okay, nothing super fantastic, and for the graphics of its time, it really wasn't bad. My biggest hit, once again, is the repetitiveness. It just took too long sometimes to get through certain sections, which may have benefited if they could fit other environments and less waves, and put less waves per environment and allow you to progress that way. But it was nice that you could play through different ways, getting different pathways to go and fight to, but ultimately you're going to end up with the same ending results at the same boss. Once again, graphics are pretty solid, music was pretty good, the controls were hit and miss with the aiming mechanic as well, a little bit of a mixed bag. But if you look, you could get this game easily for around $5, or if you look a little harder, even under $5. And for a classic PlayStation game for under $5, it's going to give you some good sit-down fun time and couch co-op fun time, I might add. You really probably should give this game a try. Give it a chance. Take a look at it. I really don't think that you're going to find that you wasted your money and that you had a good time. Alright guys, well thank you for watching this video and sharing this time with me. I greatly appreciate all the support that you guys provide me. Anytime you help by sharing the channel, hitting like and subscribe, putting a comment below, that's always appreciated. I love this community and I love what you do for it. And I love when we discuss games. So if you don't mind, let me know what you think about this game down below. Have you ever played it? Did you like it? What's another game like it? Did you play the sequel? I haven't played the sequel yet. I haven't, but I want to check it out. Alright, so once again, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you don't mind, share it with others so other people know about this channel too. Thank you for going on this journey with me. Until next time, keep it frugal.